just doing what they love right there. Look at that. Yeah, and obviously that's opening ceremonies. 'Cause look at the smiles on their faces. They hadn't quite gone to work yet.
They hadn't DQ'd anybody yet in that one.
Yeah. They hadn't got into that part yet. So just a great photo. I would say Sean would have to tell us, but I would say circa 2011, 2012. I would say is probably what those are.
10 to 12, probably right in there.
Yep. But that is our Sean Folsom photography photo of the week. Be sure and check in every week right here on Revved Up, and we will get those popped up. But yeah, Sean pulled that out. He always gives us a reason why, and obviously, reason pretty clear on that one. Mr. Jack Sandefur, son of a gun, hot damn, good dude.
Yeah, I was texting Keith Sandefur, Jack's son. You know that for the people that don't know. I texted him. I said, your dad is the one guy that has been requested the most to come on this show. And I said, he never wanted to come because he said he couldn't talk, didn't like to talk. I said, but you give that man some Miller Lights in the bed of a dually pickup truck or around a fire at the Derby, and that man would sing like a bird and tell all these damn stories.
Yeah. I like to think that I'm very lucky in a lot of things in life. Just different being a part of. The show. I think I'm very lucky that you and I have been able to grow and continue to do this for such a long time. Meeting you, is one of those things that I think was something that advanced a lot of different things in racing for me. But I was very lucky in the sense when I met the Wallace family, because what happened when I met the Wallace family, and they made me one of them, which they did. They claimed me, I became a member of not only the Wallace family. I became a part of the Stewart family. I became a part of the Nauman family. I became a part of the Sandefur family. Lori, Jake Jr.'s wife. That's the twin to Keith, believe it or not. Keith, you ugly. Lori, you're pretty. I don't get it, but they're twins. They're born at the same time. But God, just so many memories have come back, throughout this for me. I remember one of the, I was so lucky that I would go to Mama Dean and Jack's house. And a lot of times what we did is we race on Saturday night, and whether I'd stay with Jake and Lori or Mary Ann and Danny or whatever the case may have been. And we go to Jack's on Sunday and relive all the shit. It's like but Jack, the thing that people probably, again, the newer people don't realize about Jack, why is Jack such a great tech man? He's a hell of a car racer. That guy was winning championships.
Hell of a racer. He really was. Underrated by most that didn't even know.
Yeah. He was, you go back and you look at some of the, it's the old programs, back in those days when, and that's where you can really appreciate the sport, is that if you're able to go back and find some of that stuff, that's where you look at the people that Jack Sandefur raced against, and it's like a who's who of people, right?
It'd be a first ballot Hall of Famer for all of them.
Oh man, and that's where, Jack is as he made and I love what you say right there about the Miller Lite and I'll say it, and the cigarettes. This guy, jeez. I remember one of the last times that I came across Jack, I'm like, Jack, how you doing? Not so good. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, you know how the older folks are, I ain't doing all that great. They told me not to drink. Yeah, he's holding a beer. And if you need a beer, I got him over there. You know where my truck is. And then he's got. They told me not to smoke. Okay. I would be disappointed if Jack didn't do that up until the end. And I'm sure he did. But Jack was just the gentle giant's a good word. Gentle kind of butthole, kind of, because that's how people looked at him. But it's like, you don't know Jack
you'll ever meet. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's good guy. And what I always thought was kind of cool about Jack was even when he wasn't teching, because there was a time where Marianne had the pavement track, and then there wasn't, and then the asphalt rules kind of got all out of control, and that's where, like you're talking about the Derby days. I remember, God, like you said, just like it was yesterday when Jack was not teching, he was not employed by a racetrack as a tech person. Sitting there telling him, well, this fucking class, I'm sitting there bitching and all this shit. And he's like, I've got the rules written on how we can fix it. He wasn't even a tech guy, and he had rules written on how to fix stuff.
It was crazy. I mean, he always thought about it, and he was always looking, even when you're having conversations, with him, he's looking at the car. He's not necessarily teching it, but he mentioned, hey, why don't you go look at that?
Yeah.
Or why don't you double check and look at that? As just a friendly reminder. Not that he was trying to give somebody the upper hand, but he was like, and you'd pay attention too, because you're like, oh shit, I didn't think about that, or oh, I didn't realize you were looking quite that hard, or something like that. So I don't know. I was one of the lucky few that got to race the season, and he didn't have to DQ me. So I made it to the tech pad a lot that season.
Oh man, that was always one of the things, also because this short track racing kind of is what it is, but it initially when the first times when I would go to tech, where Jack's the tech guy, and you never knew what was coming. You thought you knew what was coming. Couple of things were you damn sure better. Your ride height better be right, and your carburetor better be right. That was a given right there in some of those classes. So you had to have that. But it was like, things happen these days. I know they still happen. People can't blow smoke up my skirt to where it's like, the tech guy, if something's going on, maybe you're going to be able to sneak by, but that was, man, I'm especially now, I'm proud to say I got thrown out by Jack a lot. But Jack was always so, and God damn it, you knew when it was coming, because for me, when it was coming for me, he'd reach in that pocket, pull out a smoke, and he'd come over and he'd kind of have this look on his face, and he'd be like, Rodney, I'm sorry. I'm like, shit. And initially I thought, sure, he's going to let me pass, right? I mean, we're friends. I'm going to his house tomorrow. I mean, we're having a barbecue, right? You're not going to throw me out. Yeah, he threw me out. Threw out HE.
He DQ'd everybody. He threw out Keith.
Yeah.
And Jake.
Yeah. This was the fairest guy that you could find. I mean, when you talk about literally putting up blinders on who's rolling through there, that's what you're going to get with him. I mean, and that's like even HE now as a race director at CBS. He always tells me, I don't see numbers. Jack didn't see numbers, but Jack did see people, because I can tell you that when he threw me out, it seemed like it did hurt a little bit. And he later on, he would have been, I'm sorry about that. I'm like, dude, it's not your fault. It's my dad's fault. No, I'm just kidding. But he really was. I mean, he was fair. And that's where, for the people that would say that, Jack, this, that, and the other, well, I mean, you say whatever you want to say. The rules were written for a reason. He wrote the rules. He didn't write them just to test his penmanship. He wrote them for a reason. If you didn't follow them, you're gonna get thrown out, and that's what he did.
Yeah. He checked everything from mini stocks to late models to late model stocks. Helped with the super late models at the Derby. He checked a little bit of every damn thing.
Yeah, he and Ricky Brooks together. I mean, think about that. You guys that are new to the sport, those two dudes used to be your tech team. You better be on the straight and narrow for the most part, because neither one of them going to do you a favor, and they don't care who you are, and that's the way it should be, in my opinion. Even though that, I mean, I tried. I'm like, Jack, No, I'm sorry. and that was always the thing. I'm sorry. All right. Yeah. All right. But Jack, just a good man, right? There are so many great stories about him, and man, I'd love to know that that's a guy where how many races and events that he was the tech inspector. How many did he do? Now that would be God. It'd be a crazy number, wouldn't it?
Well, I mean, he was running around with us there for a while when we were announcing bi-weekly, and Kyle.
Yep.
And then announcing TSRS, filling in Houston, filling in Corpus, but he was always with us. So,
yeah, I remember he'd come to me and he'd say, "Man, great night on the mic," which Jack Sandefur saying the mic was always weird, but great night on the mic. I'm like, how do you know? I mean, you're over here. How do you know? Jack's like, I remember sober. I hear everything. yeah, I'm sure you do.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he sure did.
I'm sure you do. Yeah. Bobby, I remember when he first made the change over to, because he had that time off. And this is, it was one of the first, it was after he went to CBS to be the tech guy there. And Jack's all about safety. I mean, you can sit here and talk about carburetors and all these different things.
Oh, they hated that when he first went over there.
I walk up to Jack. I don't even think I was working there that night. I just kind of come cruising up to the tech area, and I'm like, "So how's it going over here?" I would always joke with him, and I knew this pissed him off. I would do it after the races. I'd be like, "Who all did you throw out tonight?" Joking. And to him, throwing people out was not a joke. I mean, it was like, it genuinely, he didn't like doing that. I mean, it was never with him on a mission. Tonight, I'm going to get 3. Tonight, I'm going to get 4, whatever. And I would always say, "So what do we get tonight?" When I wasn't racing. "So what do we get tonight?" And he hated that shit. I knew he did. But so one of the nights here at CBS where he had just started, I'm like, so Jack, how you liking dirt? And with the safety part. And he's like, "Rodney," reaches into the pocket, pulls out a cigarette, lights it. And he's like, "I can't believe some of the safety stuff on these cars. You got rusted bolts. The floor pans are all rusted out. The belts are 10 years old." He's like serious as a heart attack. "I can't believe this." Of course, this is a guy that's been taking super late models and limited late models and all these different things. He was just blown away. And he's like, "I'm going to fix this, whether they like it or not." I think he got that part done.
Yeah, he got it through their minds eventually.
Yeah.
And it was one of those, I mean, they hated that when he was first over there. I mean, this is before social media became king, and it was when it was in its infancy, and people were just getting on there and just, "I can't believe I've got to run safety gear." No shit. That's part of it, right? Like, it was like, I mean, he's popping them for like 10-year-old seat belts, 10-year-old gloves, 20-year-old fire suits. Like, he was getting them for all kind of shit.
Yeah. You fucking want me to go buy gloves? It's like, okay, I've got my gloves I haul hay with. No, you need racing gloves. You need like Nomex gloves. That was one of the funniest things where that day he was so serious. "I can't believe some of the stuff that I've seen." I'm like, welcome to the dark side, as they talk about. But man, he just. And again, this is where when we talk about Jack, you mentioned Keith, but just the family tree there, obviously, of all of that. I mean, Jake Jr. and just with God, my heart breaks for Mama Dean. I know that and that that when I first got to interact with them a lot, God, Mama Dean gave me hell, still does, still would. That's kind of her job. Where Jack was the gentle giant, Mama Dean was the one where it's like, okay, Jack will be nice, but I'm not. She'll tell you that too. And
he used to always give Elizabeth shit about how the hell she put up with me.
Oh, That lady right there. And again, this is where we go back to, the racing family and just some of the great, you said it. I mean, some of the great compliments that we've seen, and, we're seeing some tonight, and I know that we'll get a lot more on the replays to where just all the great outpouring of love and stories about Jack. And like you meant, or like you text me, you've got all the service and so forth, and graveside services and so forth tomorrow, and we'll give you that information here in just a minute. But that's going to be family reunion. Boom, right there.
It's going to be sad, but the stories tomorrow, oh my goodness. Yeah. Be like when we went to Greg's thing. It was like a section of my childhood was all in the same building at the same time.
Yeah.
It's going to be the same thing, but it's going to be the same thing tomorrow. It will be a family reunion.
Yeah.
And it will be packed. We should, as bad as it is, I want to come with a tape recorder so I can just put it in the middle of a table and let them guys go. I mean, it's inappropriate to do that, but oh man, the stories that are going to go tomorrow. Oh man.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie, dude. I almost thought of reaching out to Marianne and asking, we think about a post-race show for this tomorrow. because that Jack would want that. I mean, when you talk about what Kyle would have wanted, I mean, hey, Miller Lights, and let's smoke some cigarettes and let's tell some stories about Jack Sandefur. That would be right up his alley.
Bastrop, it's behind the QT and across the street from Buc-ee's.
Typical Jack Sandefur fashion, 2 spots where you can get all the beer and cigarettes that you need. Yep, right there. The gravesite service, 2 p.m., Austin Memorial Park. That's 2800 Hancock Drive, 78731 in Austin. So it's going to be a little bit of a difference there, back down 71 into Austin. So again, we'll get those posted. 2800 Hancock Drive for the graveside service, 2:00 after the 11 a.m. Services for him. And it will be just kind of, you're going to look around, and I hate that this happens, but this is where you get to these type of situations, and you sit there in the remembrances of, in this case, Jack, and you're going to sit in that spot or stand there at the graveside service and be like, oh, damn, there's so-and-so. And then you're going to look over there and be like, wow, there's so-and-so. And that's what's going to happen.
Closest thing to a Longhorn / Thunder Hill reunion we'll have in a long time.
And I did see, I don't know I think I saw this. Today's been kind of a blur, but I think that I saw that the Oktoberfest, I think, will be the Jack Sandefur Memorial Oktoberfest, Cotton Bowl Speedway, happening in October. So that, boom, there you go. That only fits right there. I think that should stick. It's always just been the Oktoberfest, whether it was San Antonio or wherever, but now that it's found its home at Cotton Bowl Speedway, I am in full support of that. Should be the Jack Sandefur Memorial Oktoberfest every year moving forward.
Or just one of the summer shootout races. That would be fitting too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Either way, either one works.
Yeah. But
they're racing this weekend too. Going to be a somber day there at Cotton Bowl. So
yeah,
first time they're racing in a hot minute.
Yeah, happen to have a race. South Texas dirt trucks will be there. So all of that going on. It's going to be a busy weekend.